Howdy peeps, and welcome back to the channel on what is a snowy, cold, horrible February morning. I'm just adjusting the camera mount slightly. Oh, not worked, hang on. There we go. And the phone's ringing. What a good start. Anyway, can't get much worse then, can it? So, Eduard Spitfire Mark 18. What are we going to do next? Well, we've got all the decals done. Well, the major ones anyway, so now it's stencils time, which, deep joy. So, exactly the same way we did the decals. Mug of hot water, pop the plane out the way, grab the stencil data, and we will start on the, hang on, port upper wing. Now I might not, well I probably won't do all these on camera because it's going to take me forever. Well, I say forever. Longer than I would like anyway. And I'm sure you guys don't really want to be watching me putting decals on for hours on end. Well, yeah. It's not really one of those things. Oh god, what have we got here? Right, 13 is that one. Right. Now I'll change the blade in the knife, so I've got a nice sharp blade in here now. And as you'll see, as I cut the decals or stencils out, stencils, decals, same thing, I place them on the cutting mat where they're going to be going on the plane. 14, we want one of them as well. Maybe not precisely, but as the majority of stencils are generally really small and it's hard to tell which one's which, if you actually lay them out, well, if you cut out and do one at a time, obviously then you know exactly which one it is, but I tend to do several at a time, if not an entire wing or fuselage side, depending on how many there are. I won't be doing the entire side on the MiG, that's for certain. The more modern the plane, it seems, the more stencil data it has. But as I said, yeah, if I 25 or 24 forward, I'll go with those ones. But yeah, once you start getting a few of them lined up, cut and ready to go, it can get confusing as to which one's which. So just simply by lining them up roughly where they go, makes it a heck of a lot easier to figure out where they do go when it comes to putting them on. And 26, one of those. That's World War II planes tend not to have thousands and thousands of stencils on them. Well, thousands is an overstatement, it's more like hundreds. Oh, pardon me, tried to keep that one quiet, failed. Oh, let's put the ones that go on the top of the nose on as well, shall we? 5 or 4. Fuel, 100 octane. I'll get rid of that one. Oh. And then we want 31. Where's 31 gone? There it is. And again, if there are multiples of the same thing, start out by taking the one that's furthest away from the part number, or the printed number. That way you don't get the problems of you come to do the rest of it and you can't figure out which one is which because all the part numbers are missing. So that's enough chopped off for now. Let's get them. Again, just dunked for a few seconds in the water. I don't soak till they float or anything like that. Just making sure they're wet. And as we'll see, because it's hot water, you can see how quickly they're coming off. That one's actually stuck itself to the tweezers. Never mind. I think I might still have some solder flux on my tweezers, that might explain it. I was soldering some photo etch last night. There might still be some solder paste on them, but never mind. They'll soon come off. But I was going to say, with the being a hot water, you'll notice the long ones don't curl up on themselves. They stay relatively flat, which is always a bonus. So and here is where we see why we do the main decals before we do the stencils, because these ones are going right over the roundel. So again, just grab tweezers and a cocky tail stick, check everything's in shot, which it is. Roughly in position. This is good. This long one could be interesting because it's managed to fold itself over at the end. We need to unfold it. There we go, we got it. Problem fixed. Now, these ones are always a pig to get lined up. Well, we got it on anyway. Now we just got to position it. Because they're so long and thin, it tends to grab and doesn't want to move again. So we're going to persuade it to do what we want it to do. I'm going to add some more of the set because it's all drying out fairly rapidly. It's actually quite warm in here today. Doesn't happen very often, especially when it's cold outside. But hey, so now it's a case of trying to keep my big fat head out of the shot and just nudge the decal to where we want it, and getting rid of any lumps and bumps. As we go, just roll, especially with these long ones, you do find you'll get little loops forming in them, whereas where you position it, oh, there we are, that's about there. So now a little more set over the top and down that panel line there, where the next one's going to go. And again, as you can see, there's no gloss coat on this. These decals are just going straight over the paint. So it's, and that one's doubled over on itself as well. There we go. Hold that end and gently tease out the other, and then maneuver it into position. We're getting there. So the main issue with these long thin ones is getting them actually to lie straight. I'm going to have to change the angle so I can see what. I've got the lights in my eye and I can't actually see what I'm doing because of the shine off of the surface. So that's the main walkway ones done. Now for the cannon covers or gun covers, whatever they are. There's one, there's two. Now these ones are going to be more interesting because they're going around a curved surface, and the surface tension wants them to keep coming back to where they're not on a curved surface. We're going to have to suck some of the moisture out from underneath with the cotton bud. Work it into position, and in this case we're going to have to press it down before we really want to, as it's going around that curvature we want it to stay around that curvature. There we go. And the same with the other one. So decals on a flat surface are always a lot easier than decals on a curved surface. Even though I've used hot water and whatever to get them to conform. There we go. Ooh. What can I think to waffle about? There's not really a lot today. Everything's going fairly well. There's no real drama occurring at the moment that I know of. The usual pledge lovers versus pledge haters debate. That old chestnut that keeps rearing its head. Oh. There we go. I just spotted a couple of wrinkles. That's why. That right there is why you don't adjust decals if you can help it. As you can see, this one's slid backwards a little as well. But you might be able to see, it might be too far away, too small. But if I zoom it in, chances of me getting anything actually in shot are pretty much zero, so I'm afraid you're going to have to stick with potato cam view for now. There we go. Now let's buckle that one up. Just rebuckled that one. It's because they're sitting on top of each other, that's the problem. Well, they should be sitting on top of each other, but they're butting up against, so we move that one there, that one there. There we are. And that leaves walkway forward, which goes doo-ba-doo. Go. Go. Nearly forgot my decal solution. Can't be doing that. This is one of those where there's a couple of rows of rivets, so I'm going to try and position it just in between them, which should avoid any excessive silvering. And then the next one, walkway inboard, that goes that way around. Again, it's if you can get a decal into position. Decal stencils is a lot easier with than decals, just because of the size. But if you can get it into a position where it's not interfering with surface detail and is in pretty much the right place, go with it there, because it will make your life a lot easier. If you don't have to make a decal conform to a bunch of rivets or a curved surface, why do it? You know, that's obviously in the case of things like roundels or other markings. You know, they're gonna encounter panel lines and rivets and all sorts, and there's nothing you can do about it. But with smaller stencils you can usually avoid it all. Other way around. This is the thing with 48 scale stencils, is you can actually read them, which means you do have to put them the right way around. 72 you can't read them, so it's either just a line or a little squiggly line, just to give the effect that there is in fact written words there. Some can be even trickier than others. Some of the Russian ones where you're looking at it, you're not even sure which way up it should go because you don't know what any of the letters are. Been there, done that more than once. Right. So now these are in place. Just work them down a little, add some number 2 with my decal thing, which is the micro sol, which is the one that softens them right up and makes them conform. You don't need a huge amount. Some people tend to flood it on and it doesn't necessarily help matters. Stay still. Screech. There we are. Now we'll add a little to those as well. And that'll do. Now what I will do is I will do the rest of the stenciling off camera, because I'm sure you really don't want to watch me do this another 3 or 4 episodes. And I will give it a clear coat as well once all the stencils are on, and that will be Alclad Aqua Gloss. If I can find my bottle, there it is. Just a standard Aqua Gloss, do not shake it. And once that's all done, it will be weathering. And again, I won't take it too far. It'll pretty much just be a panel line wash, which, unlike with the SU76, I will use a UMP clay based wash. You can see the difference, how you can get different effects. Get that done. Maybe make the exhausts look a little wet, more rusty or burnt. Then add the exhaust trails, the soot trails, and we'll do a bit more on the underside maybe as well. Maybe a bit more grunge and grime coming out the ejector ports maybe from the guns. But yeah, so hope you've enjoyed what you've seen, or it's proved informative, or it's just provided you with some company in the cave. I know that a few of you do that. You just stick the video on in the background and work away, and it's great. I do exactly the same thing sometimes, so use and abuse the videos however you feel fit. Anyway, enjoy your modelling. Have fun, peace out, and rock on. Bye bye.